Hey guys, Angus here with another Airsoft video review for you guys today. Today we're going to be taking a look at the ASG BP9CC CO2 non-blowback Airsoft pistol with full BERSA trademarks. This is a pretty cool little gun. If you're interested in picking it up, there'll be a link down below in the description to airsoftstation.com where you can buy it for about $80. Now with that being said, let's hop straight into the review. Let's start off the review as always by going over the gun's packaging. As you can see, the box your gun will come in is pretty flashy and bright, but in the end it's just cardboard. When you open up the box, this is what you should see. As you can see, the gun's protected decently by a thin layer of bubble wrap. Inside the box, you'll have a very simple gun manual, a small bag of 0.2 gram BBs, as well as a little Allen key for hop-up adjustment, and of course, your ASG BP9CC pistol itself. Now out of the box, this is a very comfortable gun. Let me just say that. It fits in my hand absolutely perfectly, and a lot of it has to do with the very thin frame this gun has. It's very thin, very compact. It's a nice little true sidearm in my opinion. It's also very light, weighs just over a pound, which is actually kind of surprising to me because the majority of this weapon, at least in my opinion, is constructed of metal. Going over the metal parts real fast, the whole slide's metal, obviously the iron sights attached to that, as well as your outer barrel, slide lock, trigger, magazine release, this whole area dealing with the CO2 inside, and the majority of your magazine. Obviously going back to that CO2 parts, the majority of the internal parts here are going to be constructed of metal as they do have to channel that gas, and you can't have plastic pieces that'll get cold and brittle and snap. So the internals are metal as well. Now metal externals there, as far as plastic pieces go, the whole lower frame of the gun is constructed of a pretty higher quality plastic, very comfortable. It's also texturized for a little bit better grip and feel. Obviously the orange tip here is made of a very cheap plastic. From what I understand, there are threads underneath that. And also the base of your magazine is constructed of plastic as well. So if you look at that ratio, it appears the gun is constructed more so of metal, and overall it feels very solid. It's just a solid metal as well as a little plastic, comfortable pistol. When talking externals, one can't really overlook the very nice BERSA trademarks located on the left side of this weapon's metal slide. As you can see, engraved into the slide, you have BP9CC as well as BERSA, and I believe made in Argentina in Spanish. Sorry, I don't speak that. As far as the trades go, they're engraved, which is great. These aren't painted on, so they're going to be there to stay, never fade off. And they look great too. You'll also find more BERSA trades on the weapon's textured grip. Now, getting into some features here, to me when it comes to CO2 or gas pistols, one of the most important things is where's the gas stored. Now obviously since this is a CO2 pistol, this weapon takes standard 12 gram CO2 cartridges, and those are stored behind the grip. In order to access this compartment area, first things first, make sure your magazine is removed. At that point you can go ahead and actually open up the CO2 area. You'll notice that the back here is marked with the word push. When you push it in, this sort of back plate to the grip comes off, revealing your CO2 storage area. This is a very easy to access compartment, and it's very simple to operate. If your CO2 cartridge is empty, you would unscrew this piece down here so that it was loose enough to allow the CO2 to fall out, and at that point you'd pop in another one and then screw it tight enough to hear that standard hiss letting you know the gas has been broken. When it's filled up, you simply reinsert the grip plate in the back, snap it into place, and put the magazine back in the gun. Overall, it's a very easy CO2 to change out, something you could easily do in less than a minute in the field, and to me, that's awesome. Now, since we have the magazine out for that last portion of the video, we might as well go ahead and discuss that very quickly, as it is a simple mag. The included magazine is a 16-round stick-type style magazine, and the reason it's obviously in this form is because the majority of your grip there used to house the CO2, therefore you can't have a bigger magazine. Frankly, this isn't too bad. The only con is that if this were to fall to your gun in the field, it might be a little bit more difficult to find. The stick magazine operates very simply. If you wanted to go ahead and load it up, you'd pull down this spring, which actually locks down there, making it very convenient. You don't have to hold it. And then at that point you drop your BBs in one by one through the top up here. It's very easy to load, just make sure you cover up the opposite side so the BBs don't roll out. Holds 16 rounds, which is great for this little CO2 pistol, traditional pistol mag capacity, and overall no feeding issues whatsoever with this magazine. Just keep it clean and it'll be fine. Down below, you do have this plastic base, which is hollow to allow that CO2 screw to sit in there carefully and not interfere with how the magazine locks into the gun pretty solidly. The magazine slides into the gun with a rather nice click and fits in there solidly. Really no feeding issues whatsoever with the mag. As far as the gun's safety goes, it's located on the right side of the rear of the slide, right next to the weapon's engraved unique serial number. As far as the safety goes, it's a very simple operation. As you can see, right now it's pointed upward. It's got a nice little arrow on there to let you know what you're on. When it's facing the F, obviously the weapon can fire. If you were to flip it so that the arrow were pointing towards where the shooter is aiming at, and on the letter S, which is also engraved just like the F, obviously the weapon's on safe. The trigger can still be pulled, but the gun will not fire. This is a very nice little safety mechanism. It's located in the back, so you're not going to accidentally hit it when you're firing the weapon. And also it does take a little bit of force to move, therefore it's not going to be jiggling around on you when firing. Iron sights wise, obviously these iron sights are just kind of your standard pistol ones. The rear sight there is what I call the pyramid sight, having two bricks with a slit in the middle to line up with your front sight post. These sights are pretty nice. As you can see, they're nicely marked with bright white dots, making these easy to acquire. When you pull your gun up real fast, you can easily find your sights. And that's great, obviously, for battlefield practicality. The sights aren't adjustable or anything, but they are pretty accurate to the gun when the CO2 is dumbed down enough for the accuracy to be consistent. Talking about accuracy, this gun does have an adjustable hop-up unit that is accessed when you pull the slide back, and obviously that's done simply by cocking the slide back like so, which will activate the weapon's slide lock. Now, not to be confused, this is a non-blowback weapon. The slide just happens to lock back for easier hop-up access. The hop-up is actually that small hole you see there. And there, through that little hole, is how you'd adjust your hop-up. You'd take that included little Allen key and either turn it clockwise or counterclockwise, depending on whether you wanted to raise or lower the hop on the BB as it comes out of the barrel. It's not that the hop-up was terrible, but I noticed that the FPS on the gun with the CO2, at least for those first couple, 30 shots, wasn't very consistent. And therefore, you might have a BB coming out perfectly hopped at around 400 FPS, but then the next shot might be so high the BB'd come out wild. So the accuracy with those first shots out of the CO2, maybe the first half of the cartridges weren't exactly consistent, but with extended use, the hop-up did begin to take more effect. So it's a decent hop-up after the CO2 is dumbed down a little bit. Lastly, just something kind of cool, the BP9CC does have a small little tactical rail located on the front of the gun. If you wanted to go ahead and add, say, a tactical accessory such as a flashlight or laser, which might be practical on here. It's a little tiny rail, but hey, that tiny customization option is always cool. Alright, and with that last little bit there about the rail, let's go ahead and hop into the final conclusion of this review. Overall, the BP9CC is a very simple little pistol. I think it'd be great for beginners because there's not a lot to learn, it's easy to understand, and a lot to go around with. Personally, I really do like this gun. I'm definitely more of a non-blowback fan, and I can confirm this after looking at this. Overall, the construction's very nice. It feels very, very solid with a lot of metal, and also that plastic frame down there feels comfortable and solid as well. It's a comfortable little gun. The engravings in the slide are just great. The only complaints I could really come up with this are the very big fluctuations in FPS, which you kind of expect with a CO2 pistol, but with those fluctuations comes very poor accuracy as far as the BBs are just kind of flying all around. So you really got to let that CO2 dumb down before the accuracy becomes very consistent for those longer range shots. But for a pistol, it's not directly terrible. Really, the CO2 is very easy to access and change in the field, which to me is huge because it allows you to not have to worry about, say, having to carry another Allen key out there, unscrew everything, carefully tighten a seal. I just like how the CO2 is set up on this gun. Overall, I would recommend this to a beginner or maybe even someone more advanced who just wants a pretty reliable little sidearm that they can hopefully get over the couple inconsistencies with the hop-up and FPS. So overall, a nice little solid gun. I think ASG made a pretty cool one, especially with the full BERSA trademarks on there. And with that being said, this has been Deathcore Airsoft's review of the ASG BP9CC CO2 non-blowback airsoft pistol with full BERSA trademarks. It's a pretty cool little gun, especially with the whole kind of slide lock going on there, even though it's a non-blowback. So thanks for watching. Please subscribe.